All right, are we on? Are we good? Sam, one of your cats is in the background. Good to see you, Sammy.
Hi, Amanda. It's good to see you.
Hi, Sam. Sam, before we get started, you have to tell me what your cat's name is. I don't know if you know who's sitting behind you. You probably have no idea.
Hey, Amanda, I'm off to your left. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm just supporting Samuel. Samuel, what's the kitty's name? Go ahead. You gotta say it. Come on, say it, Sam.
Come on, Sammy. I really want to know. He or she is super cute.
You have to go to your Toby? Or can you say it? Just say it. You got it.
Does it start with an A?
Charm.
Charm. Oh,
What's the mom's name, Sam?
Bill.
He calls mom the big fat cat.
Oh, she bullied her daughter. Oh, Sam, this is perfect. I have been telling you for years things are cats. Can you tell me how Proton's doing?
Proton, here. Proton, here. Let's go.
Oh, there goes the kitty. Proton! Oh, my buddy. Sam, you know I love that guy. Oh, there goes the kitty. The kitty left, Sammy.
All right. You ready to jump in?
All right, let's do
Thank
this,
you
Sam.
for saying yes to this project and giving your time for an interview.
You're welcome. I can't believe you have facial hair yet now. I don't even know who you are. You're all grown up.
All right, jump in.
Where do you work and what do you do for a career?
So I just started. So are we talking coaching or are we talking just
Coaching. Do you want to hear all of it or just coach? All of it.
all of it? Okay, I can tell you that. Well, for coaching, I used to do unified soccer, but I wasn't able to do that this past year. I've been doing unified basketball, as you know, for like 10 years, which unfortunately this past season, my last season, because I got a new job at Concord Hospital, working at the daycare over there, which is amazing. So I'm still working with kids, which I love. And I coach girls lacrosse at Concord High. So I coach in a variety of different places, as you know. But the newest thing is that I don't have my dog business anymore. I'm now working at the hospital, which thankfully, even though we've had all this stuff with Corona going around and everything has been shut down, our daycare stayed open because the hospital employees still need a place to send their kids. So this entire time we've been open.
How long have you worked there?
So I started working at the hospital in January. So that's January, February, March, April, May, June. Whoa, it's been 5 months, Sam. That's a long time. What else? For unified basketball, I've been doing it for 10 years, 11 years. Soccer I did for probably 8 years. And then lacrosse I've gone back and forth. Lacrosse I did, I'm gonna say 7 or 8 years. I just took over the program though, and the varsity coach. So last year was my first year, and then this year would have been my second year. But as you know, the spring happened, and we did not have a season.
What is your position title and what are your main responsibilities?
So for the hospital, I'm a teacher assistant. And in order to work my way up the ladder, so to speak, I have to take some early education classes. When I went to college, I majored in business because I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but my older siblings majored in business. So I said, well, you know what, that sounds good. So I did that. I've got a bachelor's in business management with a minor in accounting and finance, and I want nothing to do with that. I want nothing to do with sitting in an office all day. As you know, I love running around and working with kids. So I somehow, which Gene Conley told me when I was in high school, Amanda, you need to get into education. You need to work with kids. And I said, no, I don't think so. And here we are, about 10 years later. So now I have to go back to school to become a toddler teacher. Right now, I'm just a teacher assistant, and I float from all of our different classrooms. But there's a toddler position available, and in order for me to apply for that, I need 12 early education credits. For coaching, I'm the head coach for unified basketball, and I'm the head coach for girls lacrosse.
What is your favorite part of your job?
Okay, so in the hospital, daycare, my absolute favorite part is working with kids that are like a year and a half to 3 years old. I went into this in January having no idea what my favorite age was, and we go from what is it? We take babies a few months old, and we go all the way up to 6 years old. So I wasn't sure what age range would be my favorite. And my absolute favorite is working with the toddlers because they're still young enough where they need you and love that you'll cuddle them and play with them, but they're old enough that they can talk to you and tell you what they need. So that's my favorite. For lacrosse, I have absolutely loved being the head coach and being able to kind of take over the program and put it in a direction that I want it to go in. Back when I was in high school, we made the tournament every year. We had a great program. We had 3 teams. We had a varsity team, a JV team, and a freshman team. And for whatever reason, the interest has gone downhill. And last year, I was only able to field the varsity team. So I actually started reaching out to the younger girls, like at crush level, the elementary and middle school level. And I started going to their practices, started going to their games to see, trying to get them interested and continue to play with at high school, which has been amazing.
And Amanda, I'm just going to help Sam with one piece of information.
Okay.
The theme of his column for the Monitor is on sports jobs. So I think going forward for the questions, it'll be focused mostly on sports jobs.
Okay,
and
that helps.
And he has a particular interest in the unified sports. I think that's why he reached out to you. So that's probably the biggest part. So I think that's probably the one part you could add a little more on that question too, is what you love about unified sports.
So Sam, I started working at Concord High back when I was probably 20 years old. I started subbing, and Mr. Mello came to me one day and said, hey, do you want to start a unified basketball team? And at that point, I was working full-time in special ed, and I said, absolutely, I think that would be amazing. Because it was to me, it was important to see you guys not only in the classroom, but having fun doing things that everybody else was doing. That was huge for me. So 11 years ago, Mr. Mel and I just put our heads together and said, this is what we want to do. We want to have a team. We want to have a basketball team. And I had 15 kids on the team. It was huge. It was pretty big for a basketball team. It was amazing. And we didn't win much, but we had so much fun. And to see my kids that I work with in the classroom, to see them having fun at an after-school activity playing basketball was my absolute favorite thing that I ever could have done. I'm sad that I can't coach that anymore just because of my schedule. But I'm happy that we were able to have, building blocks to hopefully somebody else can take that over, because I think it's really important for everybody in the special education program to be able to experience the same things that everyone else is experiencing. You guys, and I've seen it with my own eyes, love to play sports. You guys love to interact with peers. Proton does as well, which I love. But it's so important for you guys to have that outlet to not only just go to school from 7 to 3, but to have after school activities. And that's been my absolute favorite thing, is watching you guys grow as individuals, as teammates, as students, and to be able to watch you guys do that and watch you guys in the soccer field. I coached track for one meet, and to watch you guys on the basketball court has been amazing for me.
What kind of challenges do you experience at work?
So I will say some of the hardest aspects I've had are when I've experienced some of my kids get frustrated, because they have a hard time expressing how they're feeling or what they need or what they want. Or sometimes they don't understand why when we're playing basketball, someone else from the other team stole the ball from them. And it's tough for me to see that happen and see them get upset, because I don't want anyone to be upset. I want everyone to have fun. But at the same time, as well as I do, that's a part of sports, is that competition. So we try to grow from that. I try to explain that's okay, that's what happens. But still, that initial upset that I see in kids is hard for me, because I go into this, and I go into every game, I go into every practice, just trying to have fun with you guys so you guys can enjoy yourselves and help you guys understand what competition is. So I think that's what's tough for me, is just trying to overcome those obstacles of, no, that's okay. This is how this game is supposed to be played. It's okay that they stole the ball from you. That's what happens. And you go back, you play defense, and you get it right back. So I try and explain that, but it's tough for me to see them upset.
How has COVID-19 impacted your life?
So in respect to COVID, it's been it was good for us, because we, unlike a few other winter sports teams, the unified basketball team was able to finish our season. And we actually do it differently now, Sam, than when you played. We have 2 different leagues. I don't know if you do that or not, but there's a recreation league, and then there's like a competitive league, which is actually goes to the tournament. I didn't really like going to the tournament, because a lot of other teams didn't have the same goals as we did, which was, I wanted my athletes to do all the work, and the partners were just there to help them and aid them. So we actually went undefeated this season, which was amazing. I mean, the kids loved it. And we didn't go to the tournament because the recreational league doesn't have a tournament. But so we just barely escaped COVID by a month, because we finished in February. However, my lacrosse season, which isn't unified, but my lacrosse season, we started our winter workouts in March. No, we started them in February, and then we were only able to have a few before COVID shut everything down. And then I was having meetings with my girls on Zoom, which I can tell you right now, I had no idea what Zoom was before COVID-19. So this is brand new to me. So that was weird, trying to get through. We weren't sure at some points, were we going to have a season? Should we be working out? Obviously I told my girls to stay positive, to work out. But then things started to, snowball. Things started to get a little worse, and we weren't going back to school. So it was really hard for my seniors. I had 4 seniors on my team this year to not be able to have that spring season, and it was going to be my second year as the head coach, so I wasn't able to have that. But thankfully, I'm happy. Thankfully, we're able to get in our unified winter season.
How has COVID-19 impacted your work?
I think it looks like you covered that already, Samuel, so we can go on.
What were some things you were not prepared for once COVID-19 started impacting your work and life?
I definitely was not prepared to be meeting with my girls over a computer. A lot of them were freshmen, incoming freshmen, and we had never met before. So having the first time, the time when it's just online was incredibly hard. I didn't even know some of these girls' names. Thankfully, it's in the bottom left corner, or else it really would have been tough for me. So it was tough because I want these girls to come back to play again, to play next year, and to try out as I try to build this program. So I have to try to reassure them that we eventually will come out of this situation. Nobody's really sure how long it's going to take, but we will come out. You guys need to stay positive. Continue doing your schoolwork, which I can't imagine having to have classes strictly online when you're used to going to see your friends and be able to ask questions in person. I can't even imagine what that's like. So I try to keep them positive. I try to, tell them it's going to be okay. We'll all come through this. And I also try to be there for them. I said, if you guys ever need me, please reach out, call me, Zoom, whatever you guys need. So it's been tough. Like I said, I had no idea what Zoom was before this all happened. But thankfully it exists because I think it's really helped people connect even when we can't see each other in person.
What did a typical workday look like for you before COVID-19?
So before COVID happened, I would go to work. I would go to my full-time job. During that full-time job, at some point, I would make a practice plan. I would explain what we need to do in a game situation. For unified basketball, we would have practices during the day, in the school day, which had COVID come a little bit sooner, we would not have been able to do that. And then we would have practice from 5 to 7 every night. So I would go from work, I would go home for a little bit, then I would go to practice, and all of our girls would be together. We were in competition, they're staying healthy, they're staying active, and their minds were just constantly going, and they weren't sitting at home. So it's tough for me to change that part of my life where I get home from work and I don't have practice to go to. I don't have a game to go to. I will say, made scheduling a little bit easier for my job, because before this started, I had to send in my entire practice schedule. I had to send in my game schedule so I could make sure each day I was out at the right time to be able to catch the bus for a game or make sure I got to practice, because we're open till 6. So if we're practicing till 5, I would need to make sure at 5 I need to make sure I was out of work in time. So now I don't have to worry about that, but at the same time, I wish I had to worry about that. I wish I had practice to go to. I wish I had a game to go to. Hopefully, I'm hopeful next year things will get back to normal next season.
What does your workday look like now during COVID-19?
So now, like I said, I get up in the morning, I go to work. I'm not writing out practice plans, or, I'm not making up game plans for the day. I'm not going to demos to pick up our subs for our games. It's very different. I'm thankful I'm at least going to work, because a lot of people at this point are not, and haven't been for months at this point. But I'm going to work, I'm coming home, and that's about it. So it's been a little strange. And it's been strange not watching sports on TV, which I'm sure you can attest to, as I know you love the Red Sox. So my work day is definitely shortened. I can tell you that much.
This question may not be relevant. Let's see.
Okay.
How has the shutdown impacted athletics at NHTI?
Oh yeah, that's very relevant. So as you know, work at NHTI. Well, I won't be able to anymore going forward, just because of my work schedule at the hospital. But in the spring, this spring I was still going to try to work there, but we had no baseball games, we had no softball games, and I think we pulled the plug earlier than some on canceling sports seasons. So kids and coaches and staff, like myself, were kind of surprised to see that we had canceled the seasons. And, first, softball, and then it was baseball. There was nothing. And normally that's also another job I would be going to for at least a few hours in the afternoon. So to not have sports, not need, our athletic trainer wasn't sure what she was going to do, because she knew once the sports got canceled, she was going to be needed. So it was a very interesting time back when this all started and NHTI decided to cancel their seasons. That took some getting used to, not being on campus anymore, not seeing the kids anymore. Everything shut down pretty early.
What is the worst part of COVID-19 for you?
I'll tell you a joke. I've been saying throughout this entire thing, the worst part of COVID-19 is knowing people are adopting kittens and puppies and I can go see them. It's been tough for me saying, I love to go see the new animals that people have. This is Maya actually just got some baby chicks. I would love to go see them, but COVID-19 is not allowing me to do any of that stuff. But no, seriously, probably the worst part of this has been watching my senior kids not finish their sports teams seasons. And it all started back in the winter when girls ice hockey and boys ice hockey didn't get to finish their seasons. Knowing how hard all these kids have worked all season and knowing that they got to the championship and that they couldn't play it was hard for me to see, because I put myself in their shoes and I was thinking about how it would be, how I would feel if I, with my teammates, went through a whole season, worked really hard, put my heart and soul into it, and then couldn't finish. And I just can't even imagine that feeling. So that was hard for me to see. I felt terrible for these seniors that all the way back to the winter have had their worlds kind of turned upside down, and they not only didn't get to finish their winter season, but then couldn't finish out their spring season, that was tough for me to see.
Have there been any positive changes in your life due to COVID-19?
So actually, I'm actually supposed to be in Mexico right now, Sammy. Because of COVID-19, I'm not. However, the positive that came out of that was my boyfriend and I actually just bought a piece of land, which we never would have done. We would have been spending our money in Mexico. Because of COVID-19, there was a woman who bought some property back a few months ago. She cleared it, put a driveway in, was getting ready to build her house. And then her employer said, never mind, you can work from home from here on out. And so she decided she didn't want to live in New Hampshire anymore. After only a few months of owning that property and doing all that work, put it back on the market. And we actually ended up buying it and plan on building a house in the next year. So that's the one positive thing I've seen that has come out of COVID-19. The other positive thing I've seen is that a lot of my high school kids have persevered through a time where we've never experienced before. They've been told they need to stay home, they need to eat lunch at home, they need to do their classes at home, they need to work out by themselves. And it's been tough, but they've done it. And they've come out on the other side. They've graduated or they've moved on to the next grade. And it hasn't been easy. And I'm sure there's a little bit of complaining. But they all figured out a different way to live, and they figured out how to do their work from home, how to basically get by when they're living in a time where it is completely different than what they're used to. So to see kids adapt to that and to see them successfully navigate through this time has been amazing to watch.
Can you explain what unified sports are?
So unified sports are comprised of athletes and partners. Athletes are our special education students. Partners are other students in the building that aren't in season at that time. And the best thing about it is that those two come together. Those two people come together. Sorry, I'm outside. Those, and you know what? And other times they might not have even known who each other was, and they both learn to play with each other, play soccer with each other, play basketball with each other. They learn to communicate. They learn how to be a good teammate. And I think that has been so important for Concord High. To see those two worlds collide. So basketball is exactly the same. It's 5 people on the floor, 5 kids on the floor at a time, 3 athletes and 2 partners. Soccer, I believe, is 4 and 3, 4 athletes and 3 partners. And then for track, I'm not exactly sure. You probably know better than what I do, what track is. But the essence of it is that our special education students finally get to play the sports and do the things they deserve to do, and do the things they've been watching their peers do for their entire lives.
How did you begin working as a unified sports coach?
Did you cover that earlier, Mr. Mello?
Do you want me to say that again, Sam, or are you good?
Are you good? You want to move on to the next question?
How long have you been a unified sports coach?
So I think Mr. Mello and I started it about 10, 11 years ago. How old am I? Yeah, I'm 31 now. Sammy, I'm getting old. I'm 31 now, and I started it about when I was 20, 21, so it's been 10, 11 years at this point.
What were your main responsibilities as unified sports coach?
My main responsibilities were making sure everyone was safe, making sure everyone had the proper gear. For soccer, their socks, their shin guard, which wasn't always easy. Shoes, uniforms, water, mouth guards, just to make sure we were properly outfitted, to make sure practices were held at least twice a week. And then just to make sure during games we had fun. Make sure everybody got in, everybody was having a good time, everybody understood why we're there. And then I always had, an assistant or two that would help out with anything else we needed. Whether we had a cut or something, they would help out with that. But my main responsibilities were just making sure you guys were having fun and we got to our games and we knew what we were doing. Like running the right way. Sometimes we had trouble with that.
How was your time as the unified sports coach at Concord High?
How was it? I absolutely loved it. It was probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Just to have that experience and to try just to go into something I've never done. I've always played sports myself. But to go into a coaching aspect and coaching my special education students was amazing. It opened my eyes to just the diverse people you are. You guys aren't just students. You guys don't just sit in the classroom in the basement. You guys go to every single different class you have. You guys go to sports games. You guys play, and it was amazing to see. That was the absolute best part for me was watching you guys come together as a team and play.
What was your most memorable moment as a coach?
Let's see. I know. My most memorable moment was a few winters ago when we had, I have two. All right. My first one is when we had would have our home basketball games, and the entire place was absolutely packed with fans, and Dave Bonner came and sat in the stands and cried because it was so awesome. I'll never forget that for as long as I live, that the city of Concord was able to come together and watch you guys play and be so moved by it that Dave Bonner cried. That's amazing to me. I honestly don't think there were that many people in the gym for a basketball game since Matt played. So to see that was amazing. My second is when we started playing pep rallies and seeing all of your peers there cheering you guys on. That was amazing for me.
Oh, that's great.
What was your favorite part of being a coach?
My favorite part was hanging out with you guys. I actually loved you guys, and to have you guys in the classroom and then have you guys on the court or on the field was so much fun. And then when I wasn't working at Concord, when I wasn't subbing at Concord High anymore, just to still have that connection with you guys was the absolute best part for me. I loved it.
What are the important qualities for a unified coach?
I would say the most important quality is patience, because there are going to be times when someone doesn't want to do something, or they just want to sit down on the floor, they don't want to get up and dribble, or they don't want to go into the game or come out of the game. I've had that happen. And you know what? Just to have some patience and just have a little sense of humor goes a long way. And also just some understanding that you guys are having the time of your lives, and it might not be as fast as some other things happen, like a varsity sports game, but this is for you guys, and it is the most fun as long as you make it fun. So definitely patience and just understanding of the fact that you guys have waited so long to be included in this, and the fact that it took this long is unfortunate, but the fact that we finally got there is amazing. And it just has definitely a sense of humor, because you guys are funny, you guys are fun. So those are my top three.
How did coaching impact your general lifestyle or work-life balance?
So the basketball season definitely impacted my work schedule, just because we had practices in the middle of the day. So I'd have to split up my day into two parts. I'd have to, this was back when I was walking my dog, I'd walk my dogs in the morning, make sure all my morning dogs were taken care of. Then I'd go to practice, and then I'd be right back to walking more dogs in the afternoon. And sometimes that wasn't the easiest, deciding who needed a walk sooner and who needed a walk later. But I made it work. Soccer was a little bit easier because it was later in the day. But even still, on days we had soccer practice, I'd have to make sure all my dogs were walked before I went to class, before I went to practice or to a game. So I definitely had to work on my time management skills, which we're lacking a little bit. So you guys help me with that.
How do you think COVID-19 will impact unified sports moving forward?
I think as long as we're going to school, which I'm not sure if we'll be going to school in the fall. I think that's tough to say right now. I'm trying to stay hopeful, but at this point, I'm not sure. I think as long as we're going to school, we'll be having unified sports because all of our other sports will be back into the swing of things. I've actually been seeing, Little League Baseball, I think, just started playing in Concord, and dance. I've heard dance is back. So I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to get there. It's just getting everyone to school and keeping them safe. That's going to be the tough thing. So whether we have a soccer and a basketball season this year, I'm still not sure. But I think as long as we're in school, we're going to have a unified team.
Do you think unified sports will be able to adapt to certain health guidelines if COVID-19 continues long term?
So I think the biggest thing would be not having as many kids on the floor or on the field. So I think we'd be able to adapt to that. It would be tough because basketball we still have the same amount of people, 5 on the floor. So if other teams have to decrease that, or if we only have practices and you have to decrease practices, maybe split practices to, one group goes at this time, the next group goes at that time. I think just like any other sports team, unified would be able to adapt. It would be challenging, yes, but I think it would be doable. Sam, before you ask your next question, I just saw that you have a tattoo. Sammy, what happened to my little boy? Oh my goodness. Sam, that's awesome. You are so grown up now. Oh my God. I'm telling you, I'm getting old. It's scary. Okay, you can ask your next one now. I just had to make sure that really was a tattoo.
Thank you, Amanda, for doing the interview.
Oh, you're welcome,
It was
Sam.
fun. Can you send me a picture of you as a unified coach that I can use for my Q&A?
Yes, I can.
I'll email you and let you know when I'm finished and the interview gets published.
Okay, that sounds good, Sam. I can do that. I can't believe. Oh, what happened? Oh, where? Oh, there we are. You want to use that one?
I think he just wanted to show you. We were doing a little memory lane, going down, looking at some photos. He
Look
just
at
wanted to show
Proton. Oh, look at Sammy. Look at the happiness that dog brought everyone. Sam, that's awesome. Sammy, you're a lucky guy that you get to hang out with him every day. Look at how happy he made your teammates. Oh, look at you, Sam. See, that's the Sam I remember. No facial hair. You've grown up. You're making me feel old.
Do you want to tell her about your tattoo at all? Since you're on the topic. Hold on, he's going somewhere.
I got a tattoo of the Red Sox B on my left arm. It took about 2 hours and it didn't hurt.
Sam, you're trying to tell me you had a needle sticking into your arm for 2 hours and it didn't hurt? That's crazy. I'm so proud of you, though. That's awesome. I know how much you love the Red Sox. I am so happy for you that you have that. I just can't believe how grown up you are. This is crazy.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Oh, I have a question. Can I ask you a question? Did Proton go with you to get your tattoo?
Did he see him?
Bad job.
Whoops, sorry.
Okay.
Yes or no, Sam? Hold on.
No.
No, he was able to. Good. He probably would have been so sad to see you. Well, I guess if you were in pain, he would have been that sad. But he probably been like, what is he doing with a needle in his arm? Well, I'm glad he was able to stay home for that.
Here, there's another picture he's going to show you.
Okay. Sam! Your brother, when did you get this, Sam? Recent?
When was it? Was it a year ago? So like about a year ago, right?
Wow, that's really neat that your brother was there, though. Does your brother have tattoos?
See the tattoo, Samuel? Does he?
Yes.
Ah, okay. That's really neat. All my siblings and I, we all have tattoos as well. Look how happy you are. You've grown, like, it's crazy how much older you look now. That was only a year ago. Sam, that's awesome. I'm proud of you for going to do that. That's so, I've got a few. I can tell you they're kind of painful.
Yeah, I'll just add in, they went to Gothic Tattoo up on the Heights, and Isaiah got the same tattoo artist gave him a big rose down his left arm.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, Samuel you want to tell her about how you were able to get the tattoo? You have another minute?
Yeah, of course.
No, yes, I decided to do deep brain stimulation, which has already helped me with my wiggles. They put two very small electrodes into the globus pallidus internal area of my brain, which is also called GPI, and those are connected to a small power pack implanted in my skin. The surgery took about 8 hours, and then I was in the hospital for 2 days. I am glad I did the surgery, and I am relieved that it is over. It is already working. It feels really good. My body is calm and the wiggles are mostly gone.
I guess if you can go through an 8-hour surgery and 2 days in the hospital, you can go through a tattoo. Sammy, is that what I saw on you? Is it on your stomach, the implant? Or was that something else? Is that your feeding tube, maybe?
Yeah. Is it? It's actually right here is where the implant is. He's got the G-tube he's had since he was like 3 years old.
Yeah.
So this one, but as you can see, I don't know if you can see in Samuel's body right now, but it's totally relaxed his whole body.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what allowed him to get the tattoo.
So how long before the tattoo had you had that surgery?
That's a good question. Do you remember what month you got the tattoo? Was it July or August? When did you get it? Do you remember, Samuel? Come on, you got this. Samuel remembers everything.
Oh, absolutely.
When was it, Samuel? Was it might have been September. Was it September 2019?
That's my birthday month. That's a good month to get a tattoo.
Is that when it was? Or was it the summer? This is the tail end of Samuel's day, so maybe losing a little steam. But I think it was September, wasn't it? Wait, he's going to his calendar here. Where's your calendar? When was it, Samuel? Where's your calendar, dude? Oh. He's also got a fairly new communication system, so we're still getting used to where everything is. Yeah. But when was it? Say it. Was it June, July, August, September? You know.
I decided to do deep.
That's May. That's when you got it in May. Where else are you going? May was the surgery.
Okay.
And then, when was it, Sal? When was the tattoo? So you're looking for something.
I know, making you work overtime, and it's the end of the day. I just think that's amazing that that you went through you decided to go through an 8-hour surgery. I mean, that's awesome. That now you can sit for a tattoo. You can sit during this interview. I think that's so cool.
You want to tell her about the next tattoo that you're thinking of getting?
Oh, there's another one? Tell me.
I've gone to the AA Ranch Sleepaway Camp for 7 years. I went to alumni camp last summer. It's in the Adirondacks in New York.
So he's thinking of getting a tattoo that represents his camp.
That's really neat. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's got a counselor there that has a really cool tattoo, so he's hoping to get one similar.
Oh,
Hold
that's
on. Like,
come, yeah, there we go. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot, Sammy.
all right, bud. Anything else you want to say? Thank you so much, Amanda. That was a really great interview.
Of course. You're welcome. It's good to see you, Sammy. Say hi to Proton for me.
Yeah, I know. He's right here. Here, should we give you one last look at Proton?
Nice look at Proton. Oh, hi, Proton. He's tired, too. He's like, it's been a day, let me tell you.
It's been a day. So, Samuel, I'll just so you know, and talk a little bit about this, but they've got to transcribe the interview and edit it. So it's going to be a few weeks before we get published, but they'll let you know.
Okay, that's awesome.
All right. Got anything left, Samuel, to say?
See ya.
Bye, Sammy.
Thanks, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Bye.